In a talk show series, Productivity League, our mission is very clear: to build a dynamic and constructive learning community around this vital topic, productivity. The objective is that we all grow together with the collective knowledge and experiences of our entire community. Hi guys, I'm Kunal Sinha, your host, and today we're diving deep into a very interesting topic: content-led growth for organizations. This is a very generally talked topic and a very hot topic nowadays because in today's ever-growing digital business landscape, content forms the backbone of not just your brand efforts. In fact, it is a very important element of every aspect of your company: channels, customer interactions, user experience, business communication, and whatever else is needed to make an organization stand out of their competitors. And today we have some amazing guests with us who bring a wealth of experience around this beautiful journey of content-led growth. And why I'm even more excited because we have an amazing mix of speakers today with experience in managing big in-house content projects for their brands, to people who are managing the content agencies while supporting some of the amazing clients across different industries. So I'll not take much of the time. I'll quickly introduce you to some amazing speakers who have joined us in our today's event. So I have with me the first speaker. I'm privileged to host four amazing people. First of all, I'll just introduce to them in terms of name. So we have Paren, we have Namrata, Shanu, and Vidya. I'll quickly introduce you about their profile, and then we can, of course, discuss with each of them one by one. So Paren is a senior content strategist at Cyber, which is a company into computers and network security, headquartered in New Jersey, USA. Then we have Namrata. She's the founder of Upp Media, which is helping brands to communicate with their customers better and improve revenue through research-driven content. We have Shanu, who is a content specialist at Enum Corporation, which is a company into IT services, headquartered in San Jose, USA. And then we have Vidya, who is a content strategist at Key Skillset, which is a company into educational games, headquartered in New York, USA. So welcome all. This is literally an amazing mix, and we all are really excited to host all of you here at today's event. Welcome all of you again. So let me quickly explain the structure of today's event. I would like all of you to start with taking out at least 2 to 3 minutes and take us through your journey and your experience in this content exploration journey and path of yours. And then we can get into some specific questions that we have received from our listeners. And interestingly, I have separate questions for all of you, tailored to your specific experience and exposure. And I would all these listeners would definitely like to understand from all of you how the same challenges have solutions addressed differently to different audiences or industries, and how you cater to the different challenges. So I open the mic to the speakers out here. I would like to start with Paran. If you can actually quickly take us through your journey and about yourself.
Hey Kunal, thank you for inviting us. So let me just give you a little brief about how I started in this world of content marketing. So I am from a computer science background. I studied at IIIT Hyderabad, and while I was in my second year at IIIT Hyderabad, I began exploring content writing as like a side hustle, and that's where it's all started. I along with a friend of mine, we started a tech review website, and we got to learn all the ins and outs of WordPress and SEO and all this, so many basic things that goes into running a content-led business. So we did that. It wasn't successful, but in doing that for a year, we learned a lot of things, and that taught me that this area of content marketing seems very interesting. Apart from my academics in computer science, this is something that I want to keep pursuing, and that's what I did. I kept working with a few different startups who I could get in touch with through my local Hyderabad, and so I kept working in that field. And slowly, by the time I was about to graduate, I decided that so I want to jump into this full time, and so that's when I joined Cyber, and it's been 5 years now. So with Cyber as well, I have seen the company grow from the seed stage to now a company that is 250 people, and Series C funded, and the scale of the company is much bigger than when I joined. So along with along with the business growth, the growth in the marketing area as well, from a team of just 2-3 people to now around 20-25 people who are in different areas of marketing. So yeah, it's been a long journey, and I keep learning new things. So yeah, excited to talk to all the other guests here, and also gain their insights and share whatever I have.
Exciting, parents. So that has been a roller coaster of a journey, definitely. And I'm like witnessing the growth of a company from where you started and where you've actually taken the company. So hats off and really respect for that. It'll be an amazing session with you and gaining insights from your experience. So and I would want Vidya to take us through your journey. I'm like, you come from a very interesting background, educational games. So I would definitely want to understand about you, yourself, and your journey, how it has been.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Kunal, for the invite. It's pretty exciting to be here right now. So I am Vidya Gopinath. I work as a content manager for Key Skillset, like you introduced me. And I have about roughly, I would say, not 2 decades, but roughly about 17 years of experience in the content field. And I have done my master's in communication journalism, so from the Madras University. So my journey into content is pretty interesting because I initially started out after my journalism to get into reporting, the usual what any journalist or any aspiring journalist their dream would be like. So but then I realized that rather than the reporting part of it, I was more interested in the writing, or I'm more of a content of creative person than being a journalist or whatever.
So Namrata, I'm like, as you said, like there should be a balance between quantity and quality. So what happens is like most of the times organizations are not able to understand that what's working for them and what's not working for them. So in your opinion, how can organizations effectively measure the success of their content-led initiatives?
That's a really good question. I think, and I see that a lot of organizations are struggling to measure the effectiveness of their content effort, the ROI of their content effort, because there's a there's a lot of problem behind this, because you work in silo. Sales function is working on their own, the marketing function is on working on their own, and all these leads that we have, it's very difficult to draw a line that this is a sales generated lead or this is a marketing generated lead. Who do we attribute the lead to, right? And secondly, uh, you know it's very difficult also to quantify. Every revenue driving activity that you have, it's very difficult to quantify the impact. Then so it becomes, the customer journey is so complex. There are so many channels that we are targeting. There's so many activities that we are doing, so many touch points that we have. It's very difficult to attribute one revenue to one particular source. But actually, what happens is, unless you're going to measure it, you're not going to be able to manage it. So you have to measure it to be able to improve, right? So what and now, with the advent of these tools that we have, the data that we have, it's become easier to measure against your goal, against the industry standards that are available, against your competitors, and also keep your historical data so that you can measure against that as well. So anyway, so getting back to the question, the biggest purpose of marketing is to serve to for revenue generation, of course, and that is the highest priority for any business. So so to add up to the top level goal of marketing generated pipelines, you have to track the leads, you have to track every opportunity on your CRM. You have to use tools, Google Analytics and Moz and all of those tools that you can use, and make sure you're not working in a vacuum. You're working together with your sales team to measure the leads, the quality of your leads, and the completed first calls with your sales rep, all of that. So, so once you've basically done that, the tracking tools, you have the tracking tools set up, you've done your attribution, you've done your reporting, and it all comes down to, the different channels that you are going to target, because each channel has a different metric. Each channel we post different type of content. So suppose if you're posting on social media, then the simple thing to do is, how social is your post. You how social is your post is, suppose ad impressions would be a good place to start, right? But also look at the engagement. How is the organic traffic, whether it's share worthy or not, and aim for engagement. Don't aim for virality. So those are the real metrics to measure, I would say.
Yep, perfect. So, very rightly said, Namrata, that first of all, understand which channels are there, and then keep a specific certain metric for every specific channel. And then, of course, everything at the end of the day boils down to the revenue as a overall metric for the marketing. So that's very, very beautifully put up. And so content-led growth should actually focus towards the revenue-led growth for an organization. That's the perfect statement that you actually just put up, and which is a very, very important part, because generally what happens is sometimes content teams ignore the revenue side and they just get into the more creative side. So of course there has to be a very, very sweet and subtle balance between the creativity and the revenue that's coming for the organization, because that's the end goal of any content-led growth part. So that's beautiful. So Paren, now sorry to keep you waiting for a very long time. It's been a long pause for you. So, but this question is a very, very apt question, and you're the perfect person to answer this question, since you are still a part of an organization and you have seen that organization grow from a very, very like a nascent stage to a very, very established or a very high growth phase at this point of time. So the question comes along to you: can you share a specific instance where implementing a content-led growth had a significant impact on the overall growth of your organization?
Yeah, sure. So back in the early days when I joined cyber, when we looked at the industry and what our competitors were doing and what our target audience was looking at, we understood a few things. That first of all, we are in a B2B space, so we are targeting enterprise clients here. We are not targeting say individual customers. So for us, just doing things that bring in huge numbers, but then no actual engagement with the target client will not help. So to go more into that, so we saw that a lot of the companies in our industry were doing a few basic things. Like they all of them were, they had their own company blogs. All of them used to push out advertisements. All of them used to have sponsored posts, or like PR press releases and those kinds of things. And all of them also did marketing through the physical events like conferences and such. So we looked at this and we thought, okay, if we as a small company, if we are trying to make a mark, we are trying to establish our presence in this industry and make sure that people know about us, even though they may not buy our product today, we want to make sure that they know about us, and then eventually they trust us, and someday they become our client. So now to do this, like all of us here mentioned, that content plays a big role, and so now we decided to create a separate platform for building this kind of engagement. So what we did was we created a community platform called Cyber Social, where we first of all, it was a free website where you didn't even need to sign up or do anything. You just it was simply for the community in that industry, in the cybersecurity industry, and all that we posted over there was only about that industry. And so it was very, very specifically targeted. And also we made sure that we want to have different formats. So it's not just that we'll post articles, we'll also try email newsletters, we'll also try social media posts. So there were a bunch of different things that we were doing parallelly. And one company that we learned a lot from, I think, was Bloomberg. So if you know about Bloomberg, like people generally know it as a business news source or a business news website or a TV channel as such. But what people generally don't know is that Bloomberg makes like 90% or more of its revenue from a product that they sell to stock market traders and investment funds and such. So that is a product that most of us people who know about Bloomberg or follow Bloomberg on social media or somewhere, we may not know about that product, but they invest so much money and resources into building their presence through these media channels, because for them, just that authority that they gain from being known as the most authentic source of business news, that itself puts them in the perfect position to then go ahead and sell their product to their target audience. So building that kind of an authority was important, and that's what we aim to do. And so for us, we again, another thing was clear that we didn't want to spend on inorganic channels too much. So our growth should have come through organic content and organic marketing. So that's where we built this community focused platform, and we also built a mobile app for it. And so today, like over the years, what has happened is that platform has generated like 80% or maybe more of the organic traffic that we get. So apart from the other enterprise targeted marketing that we do, this thing that is where we don't talk about our products, but we are just serving valuable content for the community, that itself has generated this trust and this awareness about our brands. Because we hear from this we hear this from our customers often that they, before they ever bought our product, they already were using our community platform, they were following our email newsletters. So when we see that, it makes us very happy to know that, okay, all the efforts that we put for years, we put this effort into building that traction, and it's a grind. Like to do that on a daily basis, it's a lot of work, and you don't see results from day one. Like it takes a lot of time to generate that organic reach and to slowly build that trust among a very niche audience. But yes, if you do it right, the result is that at the end of the day, now today when we look at it, we can see that other companies in our industry of the same or similar size, none of them have as much reach of their content as we do, and we are like punching much above our weight because we focus so much on building this organic like content growth engine, you can say. So yeah, that is one example that I would say. It's something that especially again in the B2B space, many organizations struggle with this because they're trying to figure out how to differentiate themselves or how to position themselves as a leader in their category, and it's very difficult because just by saying that just by claiming that my product is the best or we are good and you should trust us, and like that does not work. Like you have to build authority in a very subtle way, like thought leadership or authority that you build up. It happens over time, and so that is something where I think content plays a huge role, and by doing it in an organic way, instead of just forcing some advertisement down someone's throat, like you should try to find out ways in which you can build that community around your brand. So yeah, that is, I think, very important.
That's a wonderful, wonderful experience shared, Paren. I'm pretty sure that many of the marketers out there will be jealous of you, of creating such a amazing, amazing product or an acquisition channel for your company. But like there are some really very useful insights. First is of course a very beautiful example given for Bloomberg, and most of the people definitely don't know the example that you gave. And it's a very, very beautiful example that you actually highlighted here. Second, very important that you actually mentioned is add value, and which we like when we all of us started our journey into content marketing or into marketing, is how much value you're adding to your community or to your target audience. This is a very important thing. I definitely understand the amount of hard work that have gone into what exactly you have built. But then there are two very important things here which generally brands miss out. That people just keep doing SEO on their pages instead of creating such kind of content repository or a content asset, which you have done very beautifully. But then definitely, as you said, it is not a short-term game. You need to have patience. It's a long-term game. But then a very important thing, as you said, that your competitors are not able to get that scale because you're running ads, you're doing SEO. It's replicable. It could be done in like few weeks or few months. But definitely creating a repository or creating a content asset that you guys have created, it's actually irreplaceable, and it is very, very difficult to replicate that effort over the night. So hats off and congrats for building such an amazing content thing. We'll definitely be in touch for creating and to like learn more from you in that case.
Thank you, Guna.
Yeah. So Shanu, coming back to you, we have been talking about so much in terms of content growth. We have been talking about so much like various strategies. So, in your view, you have seen so many brands quickly in your like very, very like short journey. You say there's a still long way for you to go. So, how does you see that content-led growth contribute to a long-term sustainability, as we are just talking about? So, how does it contribute to a long-term sustainability and the resilience for organizations in a dynamic business landscape? Because today it's continuously changing, it is ever growing, and it is very rapidly changing. So, how does that help in a like long-term scenario?
Yeah, so a lot of short-term trends come and go, like generative AI and short-form videos and all that. But the Search Engine Journal had a beautiful quote: "Content is like a marathon; it's not a sprint." So especially with things like generative AI, the people have the ability to create 10, 15 blogs in a few minutes. But Google has been releasing various updates, and they are going to end up flagging those as spam, and they are only going to promote authoritative content. So, a long term strategy is the most valuable thing a company can do when it comes to the content that they produce. So, one of the most beautiful examples of this is this company called Ditto Insurance. I'm sure all of you would have seen them on LinkedIn. Now, they put out content painstakingly without any expectation. Like, for example, if a regular insurance company would have taken, if they are doing this campaign for selling insurance, they would have put a post saying, "Hi, do you have this particular disease? Check out this link below," and we would all have skipped past them and gone. But what Ditto has done is they painstakingly put out these content without any expectation. What they have done is they created a post which I saw recently saying, "Do you know that India has the second largest number of diabetics?" Now, even without knowing that this is some promotional post, we are all prompted, we are all made to go through the post, and this is the power of long-term thinking. We actually engage with the post, we see what it is, and then we realize, oh, this is an insurance company, and then we will make a checklist in our mind. If I ever need insurance, I'll come to them because they have captured my imagination. And another great example of this is HubSpot. Anyone even remotely related to marketing can only think of HubSpot when it comes to marketing solutions. Now, this is because they have been putting out content for a very long time without trying to cultivate an audience over a very long period. So one of the best things they have done in this regard is creating courses. So if you're a content creator or an SEO expert or anything, you would have taken their courses. So eventually you are in a position where you think of them when you think of a marketing tool. So this is the power of long-term content creation and cultivating an actual audience as opposed to just chasing trends.
That's an amazing example given. So that's a beautiful thought. Wherein so you talked about a very important point, Shanu, as we say, feature selling versus benefit selling or the problem selling. So exactly, they are not selling the features, as you just mentioned. They are actually focusing on the problem, or they're focusing on the problem statement that the end customer or that industry is actually facing. So that's a very beautiful, important point. And yes, both of you, Shanu and Paren, are actually aligning on same thing, that always focus on long term when it specifically comes to content, because you are building it once, but you are actually building it forever. So that's a very important point. So now coming to you, Vidya, but like we have talked so much about like how the content-led growth is actually improving or like enhancing, or how it is actually growing. But then it is also changing very strongly. And as both Shanu and Paren mentioned, that there are multiple things that everyone is doing. So if you keep doing the same thing, you're not going to stand out. So, since you have been into the industry from such a long time and you have seen so many transitions happening, so now going forward, what are the some innovative or unconventional content formats or mediums that you believe have the potential to make a significant impact in the future of content marketing?
Yeah, sure, Kunal. Like you said, I have actually seen content evolve from being, static text to more interactive content or more dynamic content that is happening right now. When I started out, it was more about blogs. It was more about text content rather than the visual media or videos or YouTube shorts that are quite doing quite well, right? Or the reels that are pretty important in the current scenario, I would say. Also, that the fact that I think your company kind of quite recognized its importance quite early on, because podcasts, it is said estimated that it's projected that its listeners, it would have like 504.9 million listeners by 2024. So that is a very huge market, which is probably not many companies have actually leveraged on that, I would say. Because everyone knows about videos, everyone knows about using the social media content, or most of them are very familiar with that, but not really on leveraging on other mediums like podcasts and community uh, with user generated content. So people, when you think about user generated content, what people actually think about is testimonials or reviews. So that obviously is a very important part of content marketing, or I would say that is something that needs to be used. But also the fact that there are discussion forums, there are communities. So people if the brands actually could leverage on that, the benefit or the advantage of being putting their presence out there on that platforms, that would actually help quite a lot in the thing. uh, Whereas interactive content, AI generated content, there's a huge market out there. It's all like a vast jungle with so many avenues available, I would say. But only fact is that with AI generated content, it is very easy to have like a cookie cutter, same copy, generic, very generic content out. You just put out mass produced content out there, but that's not how it works. You should actually know how to leverage AI for your content strategy, but put in more human touch to it. So that's it's like a huge change that is landscape is evolving so much, and the content landscape. So yeah, it's the change is quite huge, I would say.
Sure, Vidya. So you actually mentioned a very correct point outrightly, is about the power of AI, and like, should we use it, should we not use it, and how to use it is a very important point. And and everyone knows that it is at the back of mind of everyone, and it is a hot cake since last 1 year, and since last few months or years, I should say, is like, how does AI help us, or should we use AI or not? And like Shanu also mentioned that even if you are heavily relying on AI without any, as you said, without any human intervention, then of course you're going to pay the price and it will actually backfire you. So my next question to Namrata, you, because since you have been writing so much content for so many brands, and with this we'll finish our last question also. But then this is one of the most important questions that comes to everyone's mind: that should I use it, should I not use it, and how should I use it? So how do AI platforms like ChatGPT, or there are now multiple of the platforms out there, how they can contribute to the content-led growth strategies in your field? Is it really beneficial to use ChatGPT, and how should we be using that? What are the right and best practices for that?
Hey ma'am, I started, thinking AI is going to be a competitor, or thinking that this is all doom and gloom kind of a situation where we are going to be out of market pretty soon. But very soon I realized that it's an ally. It's going to empower us. It's going to, going to only strengthen us. Uh, Initially when we started SEO also, everybody was doing it on their own, but soon tools came for that. Now with AI, it's going to reduce the amount of time that we spend in repetitive work. So that is how I see AI. So right now how we are using it is very simple. So we write one title for any blog article. Let's take that example. So now how do we make sure that we also have meta title for it? We have to have certain 160 characters. So it's all repetitive. We have to feed it for, we have to do it for algorithms. We already know this is going to be one title, this is T1. So how do we generate alternative titles for that? So we just ask ChatGPT to do that. So while we invest time in doing the original one where we put in the keywords, we do the research, but how do we make that more scalable? We have to write for meta titles, we have to write meta descriptions. All of that can be easily done by ChatGPT. Why not use that? So similarly, we've done our research. How do we create an outline out of it? But then we don't use it blindly. We don't completely. So apart, only 10% of our content. So suppose for social media, it's going to be, we've already written a blog article, we already have a podcast. How do we summarize it? We have to convert one one particular source, recycle it, right? So how do you recycle it for different channels? You can summarize it with ChatGPT. Now when I'm writing, I think I'm stuck on a certain word. How do I find an alternate word for it? Or like, how do I shorten this? This is a 5-letter word. I have a space crunch. I only need an alternate 1-letter word for this. So then we use ChatGPT. So that there are multiple use cases for AI right now, but it has to come with an SME writing. So with EAT coming in, with these Google algorithms coming in, everything has to be very personalized. It has to be customized. It has to come from a place of authority, from a place of experience. You can't just put a generic content out there, because you have to understand how is this going to stop my competitor from replicating it. So that moat you have to build for yourself, and you have to think that I'm going to put my expertise in this. I'm going to ask my sales guy, I'm going to ask my SME, I'm going to ask my CEO to put in some content into it, ask their experience, put some case study into it. So the content, that creativity has to come in along with ChatGPT, or whatever, Jasper Copy AI, whatever tool you are using. But that is irreplaceable. It is only going to strengthen us, and we have to use it more creatively.
Yeah, yeah. So Namrata, yes, that's a very, very important point put up. And this again aligns because Vidya also mentioned exactly the same point. And Shanu also mentioned the same point, that how over reliance on AI blindly can actually put you down the drain. And yes, very rightly said, Namrata. Many of the content marketers, in fact, like many of the companies started thinking that like now we have ChatGPT, we don't need content marketers. Don't need content people. And even the content marketers is also skeptical, and they were actually afraid about their careers. But as we say, it was just a phase, and it's now over. And people who know ChatGPT or people who know AI with content marketing skills are going to survive very strongly in the market. So yes, don't over rely on ChatGPT or like any AI platforms, but be an intelligent and informed user. So I I'm being honest here. I honestly wanted this event to expand into more questions and go for more number of minutes or more number of hours, because it is so interesting to talk to all four of you. You come with very insightful experiences, not just theoretical experience, but you all have been into the game and you're actually successfully leading your brands or multiple brands out there. So it was really, really very amazing and super insightful with all of your experiences. But unfortunately, we are also bound by time, so we have to wind it up now. And really, thanks all of you for your time and valuable insights around this super, super interesting topic. And thanks for addressing the questions from all our listeners. And I'm pretty sure that everyone who was a part of this, including me, of this conversation, was able to get some really useful insights. I should say I was very fortunate to grab some amazing knowledge from all of you. So all the best with the great work that you all are doing to empower your respective brands. And really, really thanks. I'm really thankful to all of you to actually come here, take out that valuable 1 hour out of your very busy schedule, and to share some amazing insights with all of you. Thanks, Paren. Thanks, Shanu. Thanks, Amrita. Thanks, Vidya. Thanks a lot for being here.
Hey, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kunal.
Yeah, thanks, man.
This was awesome.
Yeah, so goodbye, amazing speakers, and goodbye, all our listeners. See you all in our next episode. Signing off for now, and see you next Thursday. Bye for now.
Bye.